Before I start the video, I would like everyone to fill out the bracket for the ESPN group I made. I'd love to see how everyone's predictions stack up against each other. I'll put a link in the description for the bracket challenge. Don't forget to change the name of the bracket, otherwise it will say ESPN with a bunch of weird numbers after it. But now that's out the way, I'll first talk about what the committee got right. South Carolina getting the easiest bracket is supposed to happen. I'm surprised how many people are complaining about it. South Carolina had one of the toughest schedules in the entire country and didn't lose, so they deserve to have an easier road than everyone else. If anything, the top level teams being in a different region helps them because they aren't guaranteed to lose in the Elite Eight. The same people complaining about South Carolina's region would be throwing a fit if their team ended up there. And it's not as easy as people think. Unless Michigan State wins, South Carolina will be forced to play North Carolina again. Rivalry games are always the hardest to win. Texas lost to Oklahoma twice, despite being a way better team. Iowa was in a tough battle with Iowa State, even though Iowa on paper is a lot better. They also have the threat of playing multiple SEC opponents again. Same conference opponents are always problematic because they are more familiar with what a team will run. Oregon State is a very underrated team and has beaten the top Pac-12 teams or has come close to beating them. The only way this region would be a complete cakewalk is if Michigan State takes out North Carolina and Notre Dame takes out Ole Miss and Oregon State. The committee got USC's region right. People would have complained no matter what. If they switched UConn with LSU, people would have complained. I know this for a fact because people complained about a similar region just 2 weeks ago. If they switched Ohio State with Notre Dame, people would have said they rigged the bracket for a Hidalgo and Juju matchup. This is to all the Iowa fans watching this video. I need you guys to pick a side. You can't call USC region soft when they have Ohio State in there, but say Iowa is a great team. Because Ohio State beat Iowa this year and won the Big Ten regular season championship. So if Ohio State sucks, that means the entire Big Ten is trash, Iowa included. And I'm trying to figure out when all of the sudden UConn became a weak team because no one was saying that before Sunday. I want to make one thing clear. I do think Iowa's region is too stacked. But the complaints about South Carolina's region don't make sense. And the idea that USC's region is bad is completely false. But I'll move on to the things the committee got wrong. Notre Dame being in South Carolina's region is complete nonsense. NC State got the easier bracket in Portland 4. So in other words, they got rewarded for losing in the ACC championship. That's stupid. They know dang well Ole Miss is not a 7th seed. How they are a 7th seed, but a team like Baylor is a 5th seed is a joke. To be honest, you can argue the entire Big 12 is overseeded. Indiana has a worse seed than Notre Dame, but somehow has easier early round matchups. They are forcing a really good team to take another out in the second round. Gonzaga having the highest 4th seed makes no sense whatsoever. They are lucky to even be a 4th seed in the first place. Gonzaga is proof that having a higher seed doesn't give you an advantage. They have easier matchups than UCLA and Notre Dame, who are number 2 seeds. And speaking of number 2 seeds, Ohio State's resume is clearly weaker than UCLA and Notre Dame's. There's no way they should have got the more favorable 2 seed. UCLA literally beat Ohio State in their own gym. If Ohio State loses to UConn, I'm going to be hot because UCLA and Notre Dame dragged them. So if Ohio State somehow loses, that's just proof UCLA and Notre Dame got robbed. The elephant in the room was Albany too. I'm not going to lie. I thought they were going to protect Iowa and give them an extremely soft bracket, but it was the opposite. Everybody in that region got screwed. I'm very surprised they did this. To add insult to injury, LSU got matched up with Louisville, which will be a very tough second round game. Iowa fans are concerned about Kansas State, but they won't see them anyway. I would be very surprised if they make it past Colorado. This is set up to be a Sweet 16 rematch. There's an easy way to fix the regions while still following the committee's guidelines. NC State and LSU should have been swapped. I would also swap Colorado and Utah. That being said, there's a hot topic about if Caitlyn Clark is the greatest college player of all time. This is the perfect opportunity for her to prove it. If she really is better than everyone that came before her, it won't matter who she's playing. Maya Moore, Breanna Stewart, Cheryl Miller, and several other players have multiple national championships. Caitlyn only has the ability to win one national championship before her college career is over. However, The degree of difficulty for this championship is a lot more than what the other players went through, so it would make up for the ring difference. If she truly is the greatest of all time, she'll find a way. Michael Jordan and Tom Brady didn't worry about who they played. They just got the job done. Now that's out of the way, let's go over some early round storylines, which I'm sure happened by pure coincidence. Just out of sheer luck, these teams happened to play each other. The biggest one being Louisville versus LSU. Haley Van Lith transferred to LSU, and during her tenure has taken numerous jabs at Louisville. This is by far the most intriguing matchup in the early rounds. This is not going to be the cakewalk that people think. Texas A&M and Nebraska are playing each other in both the men's and women's basketball tournament. Nebraska's athletic director Trev Alberts left Nebraska for Texas A&M very recently, so Nebraska will definitely try to leave a bad taste in their mouths. This game is tricky because both teams kind of suffer from the same thing. When they are good, they look like they can beat anyone, but there's also times where they look like one of the worst teams in their conference, so it's hard to say what will happen. NC State is playing against Tennessee, the team Kelly Harper used to coach at. I think this is a must-win game for Kelly Harper. Maybe I'll be wrong, but I can't see her keeping her job if they lose in the second round of the tournament. There's only so many years of consistent early round exits until Tennessee gets fed up. If she wasn't a former player, I think they would have already moved on to someone else. North Carolina will match up against South Carolina if they don't lose against Michigan State. There was a lot of drama surrounding that game, and I could see it bleeding over. I'm sure the media would absolutely love that. If that wasn't messy enough for you, take a look at this.
You know, the NCAA talks about wanting to grow the game, and if we just consistently put SEC teams in that are 17 and or 15 and 14 or, you know, gotten beat by everybody in the SEC because that conference isn't very good. You know, they just beat each other except for USC and LSU.
The committee isn't even trying to be subtle. The first two rounds are guaranteed to have record ratings because they cram so many storylines. That's it for this video. The next video will be predictions on the NCAA tournament, so stay tuned for that. Don't forget to fill out the bracket in the description. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.